Yeah, so my toe turned off the computer. I have my foot propped up. I made a little thing. It's just for the next set of notes. It's all very pale, so you can actually see the pale lines that are underneath it, so that means that the ink will show up. Again, this is just because it's what feels like the right thing to do right now. So let me go ahead and flip this page. I'm so glad he numbered these. You have no idea how helpful it is to an editor to have the pages pre-labeled. Like, that's huge. Like, it really makes a difference. Not quite dry. So in this one, I'm giving a little bit of very specific advice that I can't really share without spoiling things, or sharing things I don't have permission to share. But the other one is, in many places, the same information is relayed repeatedly. I recommend that you create a bullet list of essential information and limit yourself to a checklist. So when you see the information, just check it off. You cannot relay that information a second time. There are going to be cases and points where it's like, yes, it's relayed a second time, but limiting these to a certain extent is very useful for creating a streamlined and more approachable story. And so I'm hoping he takes that to heart. And my little kitty cat. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, and oh, I should have a little bit of, what time is it? Lunchish stuff. I'll have another roll. It's a little cooler now, so it's not melting in. Just have to more manually spread it. There we go. And then my absolute favorite, just add a little bit of honey. I don't know why, but honey and butter is like the magical combination. It's one of my favorite ways of doing stuff. Also love these little honey jars. They are delightful. Okay, so that, I'll go back over here. Alright, and then to spread the honey, I just do a little tappa. It's very exciting. I don't know how much y'all are interested in seeing me eat, but I need to keep a few calories going throughout the day. It's very, very exciting. It tastes so good. While I'm eating this, I'm going to read ahead. Okay, I think I want to do some more watercolor. Sorry about opening that. Sure. So this is another terrible brush. It has don't know if you can see, it actually has gold water-based acrylic paint in the ferrule actively. Didn't fray too bad, so it's good for painting like this. Which is kind of bad for those brushes, but great for getting paint down quick. Let's see here. Let's do sand dunes. I love doing sand dunes. So plenty of this orange, a little bit of this color. And set that here. A little purple. Not a lot. Does not take much. Oh wow, this paper does not play friendly. Okay, that's okay. Just force the issue. Oh, that is now a purple sky. You know what? Let's lean into it. Why not? Purple sky. Okay. I forgot to put down what number that is. So what number are you? You are 9. Cut a word, no comma, semicolon, tighten this wording, cut a word, no comma, and possibly cut. So pretty light there. This is a little bit of actual repartee. You're seeing a rivalry in action. One line that was a little bit problematic, but this is just an earlier draft, so I'm not really worried about it. And so it's working. It's working pretty well. Yeah. I do apologize. Oh, my phone trip. What do you want, Phone? How are you doing? Ooh, a messenger thing? What's that? Oh. So, this is me and my nephew. So it looks like one of the people who sent me one of the penguin letters just got it. Got your lovely card, so thank you. We love you guys and wanted to send you happy anniversary wishes. Thought I'd include this cute memory pic that came up in my photo app today. Also, I talked with Rye the other day and discussed the possibility of visiting you guys next weekend. That's so sweet. And this is just, I'm hopefully going to be playtesting not playtesting. So one of my friends works at a game store, and he likes to know the products he's selling, understandably. He's invited me to play a game of the Root RPG. Root, of course, is this board game, and they made an RPG for it. I forget what the system is called. It's not the Cypher system, it's the other one. But anywho, the character creation process, it's pretty close to pre-gen. There's not a lot of math, not a lot of weird decision making in terms of like a bazillion choices. Like, it's pretty streamlined. You choose between a couple options. And so he was saying, you know, we can pre-make our characters, but keep certain things for doing as a group, which makes sense. Okay. So that works. Cool, cool. can't line it up, so I'm going to put this on the previous page. Oh, there was so much bleed through. I thought I'd already edited this page. I'm like, did I do this out of order? It's like, no, there was just bleed through. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to be careful about that. And grab a pencil and try to write bleed through. Let me use an actual pencil. Wow, that was unexpected. Okay. Okay, so looks like I'm going to be using colored pencils for a little bit, because I'm certainly going to remove this dude, but he's known for bleed through. Not hardcore, he's more so known for for other things. But let me go ahead and test this. Yep, that bleeds through, so this is being quarantined on this particular paper. Again, I use recycled paper for a lot of things I print out. No bleed through, so that's fine. That definitely bled through. This one definitely bled through. Go ahead and check this one. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay. Cool. These four are now on timeout. Let me go ahead and see if I've got some other colors in here that might better serve. So I'll go with an orange. And that's what I got. Oh, and this will work. This is very good for not having any bleed through. The friction highlighters are... I mean, there are better things, but it's hard to think of them. Okay, I think everything else is probably going to be prone to bleed through, so I'll just add 2 more pencils. And then blast. Sniffles, these must go away. It's really not a big deal. Okay, I'm just going to check real quickly to see how much further I've got so I can plan some things. So I might go all the way to the end. Yep, it does. Okay. Oh, wow, that is some intense bleed through. That went through 2 pages. Glad it's quarantined. Okay, so I think I'm going to finish the end of page 14 and then go on to something else. I could start doing laundry. I could certainly have another muffin. Biscuit? Yeah, let me butter a biscuit. Doesn't mind a good butter biscuit, right? Okay, there we go. And then we just... So it looks like apricot jam, just delightful. But it's honey, because it's so sweet. Oh. So I'm in, so I'm going to preview the page again. Okay. 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 I'm just going to do a tiny bit on this page. Okay. Okay, so that brings me to another 7 pages through this, which is good. Again, the next time I do a pass of this, hopefully it'll be either a little tighter or he'll have specified which rules he wants me to ignore. He says it's just for fun at this point because it's such an early stage. But, you know. This next one is the protagonist is much less in his own head around this other character, and this makes for a much more pleasant read. He changes his body language through space, and his thoughts about the past are linked to the immediacy of not wishing to create distress. So now you've got still some exposition, but it's tied to specific emotions, to specific actions, and has a purpose. He is thinking about how the past will hurt this person, and as a result, I have a reason to care about the past. Before it's just like, yeah, history lesson, but now I'm really starting to see it, and I really like that. Again, it just makes it such a pleasant reading experience to be like, here's the reason why we care. This is going a lot faster, and I expect the last 7 pages will be an absolute delight. I suspect, so it's a very common thing when introducing a new character or a new scene to want to introduce everything all at once. You don't want to miss something and then have something not make sense later on because you failed to mention it. So, you know, the counter to this, of course, is to share every detail. The problem is, without that context, without a reason to care about these details, they just get lost. They just become background noise. So I do like to try and link a lot of my background description to something that makes it relevant. Stating something like, the taxes have increased for grain means nothing. I mean, it does mean something, you're like, cool. But if you have, say, a baker complaining about how he's having to decide whether to sell the bread he makes to his clientele or save it for his own family because the prices have become so onerous. Now you're like, well, who changed the prices? And then you're like, I don't want to hate this king, but he's raising the taxes and is actually actively hurting me. It's like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting some real emotion about something that is very relevant to the characters. And, you know, lectured enough. But that's the, at this point, the concerns are directly linked to a specific thing that is clearly important to the character's heart. It's not just ruminating on the past. It's these are the things that are actively affecting me. So let me go ahead and tidy up a little bit. There's a little bit of a stain on it from the previous wash of paint, but I'm not too worried. Oh, I can watercolor that real quick. Because of course I can. And that way it'll dry in the drawer and be ready to go for next time. I'm going to do a very basic thing. I'm going to go ahead, I'll raise this up so you guys can see a little bit more what I'm doing. Move this a little closer. Move that out of the view. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bush right here. Nice little shrub. Okay. Cool. It's a little slapdash, but it's a little mountain scene. It'll hopefully bring a little bit of joy to the next note that our wonderful author gets to read. Alright. And I've slightly stained my paper, which is totally fine, because that is an excuse to use a sticker. Okay, so I'm going to set this over here for just a few moments. It's pretty close to drying. Ooh, or I can put down a page. It's always good to have a list here and ready to go. That's a nice green color, which is good. Okay, there we go. That, I suspect, is going to be a recurring issue, so I'm actually going to tape it down with something a little more heavy duty. This is decorative duct tape, if you will. And if you will, it's just what it is. This I don't want to have touched the desk at all because the stick-'em string duct tape is very difficult to clean. So, it's going to be possible to have it touch not at all, but I'm going to try. So here we go, as minimally as possible. There we are. Cool. Much more tidy. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and grab this. So I've hit all the notes that I promised I'd hit. I think I'm just going to, as a quick bonus, I'll grab a couple of bone pins. They need to be at least a little bit flexible to account for people using pressure. So I'm going to use probably Woohoo glue. I've got it in here. Box of solvents. Here we are. And then I'm also going to use a elastic band. Probably won't use the brown. That's the more natural earth, like the hard earth tones. So these three, and to a certain extent the green, but these three especially, the wren colors. For wren is a female bird type creature. I'm sure there's male versions, but I've only ever heard wren reference to the female. So, So I'll go ahead and use other colors because the bone pins I'm working on are going to be these dudes, and they are very colorful. I'm going to go put on a mask real quick because bone dust is not the best to breathe in. Just saying. Oh. Let me put away my highlighters as I go. You are still wet. My pink tint's still wet. As soon as it dries though, to put this in a better place to dry. I'm going to put it up top. This was the mouse palette I made earlier because I just got paint on my fingers. So let's set these little things over here. Oh, this is right in front of me. Here we go. Could I edit faster? Yes. The way to edit faster, by and large, is to do it on the computer using, if I use Google Drive, there's a comments feature that's super handy. Otherwise, there are a number of different ways to edit at haste, but that's not entirely the point of this. It gave me the manuscript to, quote, have fun with, so that is my intention. Alright, so I used to do this with the chisel, but I have found that it works just as well with one of these dudes. I'll turn this forward to me so you actually see me working. Ooh, this one I could use that other color on, and it's almost out. I'm gonna dry fit that, see if it actually will use it up, because if it does, hooray hurrah. If it does not, well, such is life. Dear goodness. Slightly higher quality would be to use these, but again, I'm going fast. I'm not going to let the glue set first, and I want this to have a little bit of flex. So to dry fit, I know that it's going to be a little bit longer than I anticipate. And I'll probably want to have a holding region that's a little long on the long side. Which probably means, let's see here, I can do it. Okay, so, okay. Which probably means I'm just hiding this in this manner. And then when I get closer up here, then I'll do another loop and pull it through to the middle. So the first few loops are always slightly experimental, just to kind of get things into place. Okay. And what this does is it gives a place for you to grip onto the pen, which makes it a lot more pleasant to write with. This is a slightly girthier femur than some of the other ones I'm in my collection. So I'm not too worried about it being thick enough. It should already be about thick enough. Okay, and so from here, oh goodness. This is just a dry fit, this isn't even the final thing, but we're making a little figure eight here. Grabbing it a few times to hold it in place, and pushing it up, scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. In theory, we would cut this and then we would pull this under so that it hides. Okay, so that proof of concept, that works. Then we would just cut these two and pull it in place. Okay, so proof of concept. Check. That works. Now let me see if I can undo what I did. It's okay. There's always plan B, which is pull this part out. Okay, so it works. Hooray! So that is just my basic dry fit. Oh, it works too well. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can deal with something that works a little too well. Now I've created a giant knot, but as long as I don't pull it too hard this way, that should be easy enough for him to do. So, order of operations. Snip this to get it to fit. Second stage. Apply this glue to this item, this artifact, so that it's a little bit, just slightly more than would be expected. And place the nib in onto it. The nib itself is going to be one of these guys. To look at it more closely, it is specifically one of these. So, step one, clip. After the dry fit, which we just did. Step one, clip this to size, which is actually might not need to be clipped. Yeah, I think it's actually just fine. I always want to have a slight bevel on it, so that this bone here isn't interfering with the dip pen itself. And that fits pretty cleanly without any kind of attempt at crimping it, which I also like. Yeah, that'll work really well. Hold it like so to balance, see where it hits. It's right here, so this is going to go right here. Okay, so that's another part of the dry fit, before I've done anything that requires like special equipment. And untangling. There we go. Cool. So here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and move those things I don't need out of the way real quick here. And before I start doing this, I'm going to go and empty the bladder, get the mask, get the gloves, get everything ready on the other end. It's going to take me about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4, but you know, not too long. And so I'm just going to go like so, and I will be back in just a few moments, and so you don't have to hear anything of rustling or odd. I'm going to go ahead and mute this for a second. And I'm back! Woo woo woo! Alright, so I've got my KN95 here. I've got a couple of gloves to protect my finger meats. And I've got all my other supplies. I'm going to go ahead and move my food items well out of the way, because I don't want them to get anything in them. And that might compromise their food value. I am a huge fan of eating things. It's, you know, part of why I'm alive. Okay, so let me go ahead and put on the gloves. I swear, even the larges are too small. My fingers end here, not here. Oh, it's like webbed out. But whatever. There's no such thing. It always kind of hurts to wear gloves too, because they put too much pressure on stuff, and it's like just weird. But they prevent me from dying, or gaining cancer-y things. So yeah, I see. See? My fingers are longer than that. But it's already large, and extra large doesn't really give me a lot more finger space. It just makes the palm bigger. The part that's difficult is this part, not this part. But, you know, I'm not spending buku bucks on that. So again, I rest this to see where it naturally wants to sit. It naturally wants to sit right here, which means this is the raised part, which means that's where the glue is going to go. You can make this style of dip pen out of so many things. Pretty much you need a nib and a pen body. I have found the most success with Uhu glue because it's not super brittle. So as you're writing, you're not destroying the integrity of the glue. It does smell pretty foul. Not gonna lie, this stuff is not pleasant to smell. I mean, it kind of is. Kind of has like a Mr. Cleanishness to it, but not my favorite. So then on the back side, I want to make sure that I'm not going past this little dip part of the pen nib, and then I wait a few moments so that I'm not undoing things as I go. And this part is hard. I didn't actually need these this time because my pen happened to be the right shape. And while I'm waiting, I can put things away. And that container of Boohoo I've had for 4 years, give or take. Like, it does not quit, which is good. So now from here, I could be very minimalist and just barely cover my nib, the neck of it, or which is more Ryan style, where I be in my sweet love, a person who's always there for me no matter what. But I usually go with somewhat of a longer hold. And as you saw before, I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this here so that it's coming together. And then I'm going to pull this up, just like I did in the dry fit. And I'm just going to keep going around in a circle. It goes pretty quick, not instantaneous, but pretty quick. I don't want to put too much stretchums in it too early, but some stretchums is good. And here we go, around and around. So I'm going to get past this part before I do my next loop. Mostly because I just don't want to have too much weirdness going on at the same place. Here I'm going to push this down. Now this next loop might wind up being a little bit disastrous just because this glue is still wet, and that might cause issues. That said, I'm going to put my loop here at the bottom so that any issues that appear are less visible. Because, you know, presentation. There we go. So from here I'm going to go around a few times, and then I'm going to push down to tighten these all together. I'm going to pull this back around to the underside of the pen. I don't know how this got on the other side, but it's elastic, so gently pull it this way, and then pull this side a little longer, and there we go. And pushing it all down again. Just going to double check where I'm at. This needs to be just right there. So what this is offering is a mechanical hold in addition to the gluing hold. So you want it a little tight, but not super tight. And push that in. There we go. It will loosen. Elastic doesn't retain its elasticity forever, but that's kind of secondary. So once you get close to the end here, just kind of be mindful of your angles here, or your drop-offs, because this bone is going to drop off really sharply here, and the string's going to not entirely know how to follow and still look good. So that becomes very much your job to keep it looking good. Yeah, so that's still about right. Yeah, there's the drop-off. So as soon as you get to that drop-off point, you'll want to thread your needle, as it were. So you're just pulling this through. Go through the hole. And from here, you just kind of slightly pinch that. You're just going to pull this like so, and pull this under. And then scrunching things up just a little bit so that it's less obvious what I did. Alright, so from here I can go ahead and clip this top line. This top line has done its bit. It is good to go. I can even slightly hide that. Not a lot, just a little. Okay, so it has fully disappeared underneath. You can no longer see the string. So now from here, you go ahead and do one quick pass. And here I could add something decorative to hide the fact that this is just the extra from the middle. Now in theory I could have done this boning from the whole bottom all the way to the top, but I have had so much anti-success with that, I'm going to go with that as a word, that I generally tried to avoid anything that gets me that direction. So okay, oops, using these as glorified scissors here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a very tight square knot. Again, this is the underside of the pen, so as long as I line up the stuff on top so that it looks pretty close, so I don't have any big bulges, should, yeah, there we go. It should hide itself pretty well. So the top of the pen, the part that you'll be looking at, that's pretty smooth. A little bit of glue on it, but that's fine. And this underside, because it's elastic, that baseline knot will actually hold pretty well for while I'm working on the secondary knot. So here, that has to go at the top. Otherwise I'm making a granny knot, which can do some strange things. Square knots can too. They can become crow's feet, which are pretty, but also not what you want when you're stitching something to your trailer. Okay, so these are flush cutters. They help me to cut completely flush. So I've got this little doodad at the bottom here. I'm fine with that. The top is clean. When I'm writing, it'll give me a little nubbins to know where my where this finger is. And voila. I now have a bone pen. It can write. It can do anything it wants. It's empowered. Yeah. There probably is a way to work that down. I just don't know it. That's fine. So, first pen. Where is... Okay, so this is my extra. This is too much for me to feel good about throwing away. I'm going to go get another one of these colored ones. Actually, that could work really well. So again, I rest it here. The place that wants to be is here. It just naturally rests there. So my nib is going to go on the top. So this happened to just have a little bit of piping on it, which I thought was super cute. I am somewhat curious to see if I can actually incorporate that in some way. Because I will definitely give a mechanical pinch hold to the top of this. I'm not sure what I would do. Going to experiment a little bit here. Doesn't have to be perfect for this, just experimenting. And let's see what I can do. Okay. Oh, and I can space it that way. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll take this nubbins end bit, pull it very taut, and then I'll clip it. What this should do is force it to kind of spring back deeper underneath. All of its other little supporting wrappy friends. Cool, so that's deeper down. Okay, so that goes like so. Now, perfect, perfect. That's the effect I was trying to go for. Look all cool and stuff, but unfortunately, that I did not manage. Now from here, it still lays right there, which means this goes right on top here. That'll work. Now I can probably do a loop and pull it straight through. And then just kind of massage it into place. There it is. Okay. Usually like 2 or 3 angles that it'll want to sit at. I choose the one of those few that works best for me. Oof, there's that smell again. Kind of citrusy. Certainly not my favorite, but not my least favorite either. Okay, so that goes there. Now, let's just start wrapping. Oh, wait, I forgot. Almost forgot the most crucial part. Pull this through. And then start wrapping. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so it's not the end of the world, but I am going to go ahead and restart over here a little bit because I need to have slightly less of a loop up at the top. So yeah, that's probably going to be better for me. Okay, so from here, pull that in tight. That's pretty tight. There we go. There we go. Cool, so that is now hidden. Now, I tie these two ends closer together to get rid of that slack. should be able to push all of this up under the pipe end cut to hide it. Okay, so there we go. Now we're just gonna push that. Oh wait, before we do that, we're gonna cut these to be not rabbit ears. Then we're going to push it together, trying to massage these bits underneath the pipe. Okay. And also around that way. Cool. So the nib itself has 0 mechanical support, but I do kind of like this aesthetic. Aesthetically, it is quite pleasing. What I can now do is take another color. I think I'll go with dark silver, dark gray. You know what? I'm just going to work up from the bottom. Nothing fancy here. And double checking that this sits right. Yep, that sits just about perfect. And we'll just do this. Put that up. Wrap a few, angle this one up, and wrap a few times to secure it all, and then push it down. What am I doing wrong here? Doing something wrong. Oh right, this has to be very securely wrapped before I just pull it up. Why are you acting weird? Oh, right. That's because I'm doing it the weird way. That explains. Because normally you just have to hide this, not the end line. That's what tightens up the bottom of the face. There we go. Round and round and round and round. And now we're getting to the part where I have to be pretty careful, because it's going to want to slip off the bone, and there it is. That's the point. So here, make our initial cut. We push this through this. There we go. There we go. It's tight. Pull off, we cut off this little rabbit ear, nice and close. Pull it under just a smidge. We get this one, pull it down. And there we go. We now have a very nice pen for writing, a dip pen. There we go. Perfect. 2 dip pens. I will want to hide that in some way. Okay, so that hides it a little better. It's at least not so jarringly sticking outish. There we go. Cool. 2 more pens. All right. So let's see here. Where can I store you? I'll store you here, I think. Alright, so this one is, this pale color is nowhere near running out, so I'm not inclined to just plow through it real quick. I do like having a variety of options, it's just when it gets to the last little bit, I'm like, no, give me my space. Okay, so, do I want to make another bone pen? Maybe? This may be a strong enough answer. I think not. So if I smooth this part out, and I remove from this side, go, smooth it out. Let's Attach and material removed. Something launched far, far away. I'll find that in probably 2 years. You go ahead. Heard it go way over there. Okay, so jiggy's off to the side, but that might not actually be a bad thing. Okay. This will be a very heavy pen. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I guess that depends on the person who's using it. One last pen. Right before I apply this, let me go grab some fun things. So these are just, I've had these for years now. They're just end cuts from various metal pipes. I use them a lot in hobbying. If you have someone who cuts a lot of pipes and has a lot of end cuts, these are just amazing to have around. Is that too big or too small? It's way too big. I need a little smaller than that. Ooh, that can work. Okay. So that could definitely serve as a hiding point for joining things. It's just a little bit too small for radius. Ooh, okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So if I put this here, I push. Okay. So push. There we go. Okay, I like that a lot. I really like that a lot. Because that's a pretty secure hold in and of itself. And the string can be used thusly. And this means it's change-outable, which I also really like. Okay, so let's make this happen, Captain. So I can do blue or pink. Pink's pretty muted against the other pink. I like the blue because there isn't blue in there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with blue. And now I'm going to pull it up the other direction. Because I now have this wonderful piece of metal here to hide stuff. I've got this flat part here that's probably not touching the metal very much. So all I'm going to do is hold this like so. It's now held. Get myself some slack here. I'm going to move everything that's not the specific resource I'm using at least over here. And then I'm just going to start doing it. It's not really been giving me much guff as yet, so I'm going to be not going to hold it too tight. I do need this to slide a pretty long distance, but I'm not going to worry too much about making it quote-unquote too long. Alright, so I've got that, and then I use this one. Nope, not that one, the other one. To tighten. There we go. There we go, so tightening as I go. Cool. Now I'm just going to go straight up until I get to a point where it's still tight, and that's still moving for me. Because yeah, now this is going to hide my end bit very effectively. Still moving, good, good. I like this a lot. You couldn't tell, I like this a lot. This is very satisfying, and it's a good idea to end on a positive note. So as long as this is staying good, I'm actually pretty happy with this being the last thing for today's stream. I'm going to go and work on some writing for a bit. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I've got this grabbed. Cutting this off right here. Pull this under. Fully hidden now. Okay, moment of truth. Gonna go ahead and remove this. Not too worried about hiding that. Partially because now now this goes here. And we push this down and we slide this. Actually pull this part off. That goes there. Pushing it in and then just pushing it in. There we go. Actually going to push this toward the front a little bit so it can scooch over the top just a smidge. Okay, well that certainly helps. Oh, that feels very nice in hand. Cool. Okay, yeah, that is a pen. We have pen. Alright, I'm going to call 3 good for right now. This was not exactly a pen making session, it was a palette making session, and this is still quite wet, but it is coming along quite nicely. I think it's solid enough for me to start pushing, like so. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the Chicago Manual with Style on there because I need something that's a little heavy. Har har. To kind of push it into shape. I'll account for that next time because I was not thinking about the edges of the clothes, just the pivot point. So let's put you back. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and take off my mask now that I'm done with that stuff. Actually, keep this mask handy because it's nice to have masks around, especially KN95s. You know, for crafting and such like. I'm going to go ahead and move my tea over here. And let me go ahead and take off these gloves. They're welcome to be used next time I need to use gloves. And it kind of hurts my hand to wear gloves for any length of time because it puts so much pressure in weird places. Like, my fingers can't fing. My phalanges can't flange. Whatever phrasing you would like. Alright, so I'm going to set these with the glove back here. And then sometimes I think I'll call it for the day. I hope everyone who's been lurking has enjoyed the show. And I also hope that everyone who has been keeping an eye... So, I do know that several people like to watch this at a delayed time, so when they're going to bed or starting to do their own crafting stuff. And so I hope those folks also enjoy a nice free flow of today's session. I have again called Kaiser trying to get a counselor, and again they have not responded. But today is their weekend, so I don't expect a response until Monday, and it'll be interesting when they do respond. I'll very much appreciate it. Here we are. So these end cuts are used by Rye a little bit more than me. He does a lot more of the sculpture building and kit building than I do. His work is super impressive to me. I am always blown away by the things he does, but he's a little bit more shy, so I don't always feel comfortable sharing his stuff without his express permission. But it's really cool. Like, I cannot do what he does. He says I paint better than him. I don't know if that's true or if that's kindness, but we all have our strengths. Let's see here. So most of this goes up here. So this is wax thread. Wax thread is incredibly useful and creates a very polished, finished look for a lot of things. And as such, it's a household staple for a lot of projects. Certainly a lot more professional than this, although I will say I do enjoy using this. That is dry. Go ahead, set this over here. This goes into here. This goes up top. We have an escapee. That's okay though. So, with all my editing tools set aside, I'm going to prepare myself for the very last push with this project that I'm working on for a fellow author. I'm just going to go ahead and silently read, and then I'll pick up again either tomorrow or possibly later tonight, but probably tomorrow. I've been streaming for 5 hours now, give or take. I accidentally turned off the computer midway through stream, so it'll look like 2 and 3 hours or something like that. So let's see here. So since I have this here, I may as well use it. I'm going to go ahead and write down the things I'd like to do tomorrow, or the next time I stream, I should say. So I think I'll do So I'll do one item from the unfinished collection. I'll bring the unfinished collection over. This is by no means complete, or all of the items that are unfinished. It's simply the ones that are convenient to grab at this moment. These are all pieces that I started but then never finished. And so I'm going to go ahead and work a little bit on one of these. I do a painting tutorial on at Gamescape on Sundays. And by painting tutorial, what I mean is that when people who are new to the hobby of painting miniatures come in, I'll sit by their side and give them some tips and tricks as they're setting up, just to kind of help them get started on the right foot. It's oh boy, it is a lot of very hyper enthusiastic, positive male energy. And I love it, but it is a lot. It can be a bit overwhelming for me from time to time. And I'll just kind of warm up to the idea of painting with one of those. So I'll also go ahead and edit for my fellow author. And I'm just going to say 2 bone pens. And that's it. It's so tempting with a large blank piece of paper to fill it all the way with all the things. But that actually should fill several hours. Editing often goes very slowly when I do it live on Twitch, just because I like to stop and explain what it is that I'm doing. It's a less immediately visual art, and as such, it takes a little bit of explanation. So you do a little squiggle, and then I say, hey, I did this thing. And that works out quite well. So as I said, I'm probably going to go ahead and read the last bit of that document without making any notes. I'm just going to read very quickly through. And then I'll probably take a look for other projects. But then I'll probably go ahead and write my own story. I might go to the grocery store. I think I have everything I need for dinner, though. I'll have to double check. And then, yeah, and in the meantime, now that my desk is cleared of anything toxic, I'll go ahead and have my last 2 breakfast biscuits. These are kind of a rare treat. I kind of love them. I guess that one's getting put in thirds. And I bake these in the morning. They're just from, the pop can. And you take the dough and you bake it. I kind of overdid it this time. I should have taken them out when I stopped instead of just leaving them to finish up. And then forgetting about them. But, that's okay. This needs to be heated a little. Makes the flow a little easier. Mm. It's also entirely possible that I'll interpret the unfinished collection, depending on how long I wait, as being from the unfinished story collection. That one is also very large, although I usually call that my writer's graveyard. A lot of writers have this, some collection of stories that they've started and not finished. Just set aside. I'll come back to them from time to time. There's a few that are actually pretty close to being finished as far as being ready to be released as books. But they're part of the graveyard, so I come to them and leave them as I go. This is a mug Ryan got. It's one of my favorites. He didn't get it for me, he got it for him. But he shares because he's amazing. And I just love it. It's so cute. And that's it for tea. Alright. I'm going to use a different pot. This one has been used for 2 days, so it's time for me to clean it. But I'll be composting all of these in my garden. And my hot water is still warming, so my honey is not yet ready to be softened. Alright, now resisting the urge to edit as I go is very hard. It's one of those things that I very much enjoy doing, but I don't think it will serve me in this case. Alright, I'm a little close to the camera here. I'm going to shift everything down a little bit, raise the angle here. Okay, my goal is so that you can know that I am reading, but not know what it is I'm reading, not the words at any rate. Alright, let's go ahead. And that's all my tea. It's delicious. Alright, just 1 second. I'm gonna go pour some water in the around the honey. Alright, so this is melting up the honey nice and well. Oops, that was unplanned. It's okay though. Oh, it's starting. Just getting someone here. I should probably let that firm up a little more before I do the hard press. There we go. Much better. It was crystallized before. Oh, it's moving much more freely. Pull this out. It's rather painful to the touch. Not into the world painful, just a little. Oh, much better. Like little gems. I love it when my favorite eye color, it's not blue or green or anything like that. It's a color I call honey fire. Honey fire eyes are eyes that just, when they catch the light, they're this color. And they are the most beautiful eyes. My husband has them. They're brown that just sparkles under the right conditions. I know it's, you know, it's silly to judge people for the color of their eyes. And I try not to. When I see honey fire eyes, I just get smitten. But, yeah. So I'm going to steepen the angle again. Move this cup of water over here. That's prettier. There we go. And back to my reading. Oh, okay. Okay. So that works. It did come to an end. Page 18 starts a new character, so I could have finished that. That's fair, though. I'll finish up this other characters section too, so that next time it's very easy. But that gives me a pretty good idea that I'll come on later tonight and do the last few pages. Okay, do. Okay. I have read. I wish everyone a magnificent day. Only good things. I hope you enjoyed crafting and reading and editing and all those good things. I'm gonna go ahead and get some writing done, and I'll probably throw the laundry in the wash just to, you know, keep up on the housework things. I'm also gonna go ahead and give my sweetheart, my little love, my Ryan, I'm gonna give him a call. He's gonna be, I miss him dearly. He'll be back soon, but not today. Maybe tonight, but not today. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him a call and wish him only good things. Today is Saturday, so I don't really have a lot of obligations. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at some of the other possible writing opportunities I'll have and see what I can find. I do hope that everyone has only good things. Actively engage in self-care, eat food that is wholesome to you, whatever that means in your particular case. Stay hydrated, however that means for you, and actively engage in things that are healing. For every person, this is going to be different. For me, it's what you saw me do today. Peaceful, quiet, little crafts, little edits, helping others, and just enjoying them, just enjoying the ride. Thank you so much, and have only good things coming your way. Thank you kindly.